Hi everyone, and welcome back to Starbucks Saturday. And sorry if you can't see my face, but not that sorry. I say this every week. I'm blind, so I can't look in the viewfinder and know whether or not my face or anything else is actually in a frame. So, like I said, sorry, not sorry. Welcome to my world. Just because you're blind shouldn't mean you can't YouTube, and it's all about the sound for us blind people. So, I want to talk about this commercial. What the commercial's for, I don't know. But in particular, I want to talk about one particular thing that it says, and my whole opinion on that whole concept. It goes, teach them to smile and they'll smile at the world. Teach them to love themselves and they'll love others. Teach them they are special and you'll be amazed by what they do. Okay, clearly that's a commercial that's targeted to parents. I have no idea what it's actually selling, because it's one of these modern commercials that has instrumental music behind a monologue that has nothing to do with anything related to what is being sold, and that's all it is. How a blind person is supposed to know what that's supposed to actually send you to the store and buy. I mean, I think I've done videos about that before, and I'm liable to do at least one more. But anyways, teach them to love themselves and they'll love others. I don't know if that's true or not. Now, last week I talked about how we need people who do love others, or at least give a damn about others for a second and a half, because, I told that story about the guy who was driving home from work and pulled into McDonald's and saw some poor guy stranded there who had been sitting there for 6 hours waiting for someone to have it in their heart to stop and help him out. And thank God for that guy who did have it in his heart, in his schedule, and whatever else it took to actually help him. But, I think there's two ends of this spectrum, loving others. On the one hand, there's loving others and thinking about others and being concerned for others, which, like I said last week, the world needs more people that actually do that. And then there's the end of the spectrum where you're so concerned about, quote, loving yourself, unquote, that you have no room in your heart for others. But what about the middle of the spectrum? What about where you understand that it's okay to love yourself and care about yourself and think of what you need sometimes, but yet help others when you're able? That's, I kind of had an idea of where I wanted this video to go, and then I just kind of started winging it, and it's gone elsewhere. But look, I'll be the first to admit that qualified to give parenting advice, because I have experience being a parent, is something that I am not. Okay, the closest I've ever come to being a parent was having a cat, which, I loved him like my baby, but he wasn't, I don't know, it was like having a 2-year-old, 3-year-old. They drive you nuts, but at the end of the day, you adored him, or at least I did that kitty. Unfortunately, he passed away, and I'm not financially ready to adopt another one. But anyways, the point is, I'm not a parent, and so I'm not an experienced person to give a lot of advice about parenting, but I am a person who, one of these days, I may do a tell my life, I guess is what I would do. A lot of people do draw my life. You'll never catch me doing a draw my life, because frankly, I can't draw. Why would I want to, I guess? I am blind, have been blind since birth, don't understand the concept of visual anything. But I do understand I do understand that if kids and teenagers are raised thinking that everything they do and know and enjoy and them themselves are wrong, they're not learning how to love themselves. And then when they're grown up trying to learn how to love themselves, it's like, what does that even mean? Loving yourself. It's taken me a long time to learn. I still am not sure I've completely learned it. But I guess the point I'm trying to make is, this commercial says to parents, teach them to love themselves and they'll love others. I hope they will. But teach them to love themselves, I think, is something that if parents would do, they might help their kids. I mean, on the one hand, you don't want to teach them to love themselves so much that when they come upon someone who clearly needs help, they just drive right past them because they love themselves too much to inconvenience themselves a little bit. You don't want to teach them that. But you also want to teach them that they're okay as they are, they're loved as they are, they're special as they are. They are worth being appreciated and loved. And I'm babbling on and on. Am I making any sense? What qualifies me to say this kind of stuff? The fact that I was essentially taught not to love myself. And when you're taught not to love yourself, it sucks, because once you get out of the influence of the people that are teaching you not to love yourself, you spend forever trying to figure out, well, first of all, to get out of the mindset of I'm wrong, I'm worthless, I'm all kinds of other crappy things to say about yourself that people shouldn't say about themselves. And it's a long process to realize, you know what? I am okay as I am. So I guess the point is, while I'm not a qualified parenting advisor, if you are a parent, I guess my appeal to you would be, I don't think you want your kid growing up like me. Meaning, I don't think you want your kid growing up disliking themselves for years. And taking a long time to realize that they're okay, they're wonderful, they're caring, they're every good thing they are. I guess what I'm saying is, I'm no one to tell you how to teach your kid right from wrong, but for what my 2 cents is worth, I think learning the difference between teaching them right and wrong and being so concerned about teaching them that this is wrong that they don't spend enough time teaching them what it is about them or what they do or who they are that's right, or teaching them that they are lovable and good as they are. I think if you can't find that balance, you'll end up either with a kid that's, as I said, so full of themselves that they're part of the story last week where 6 hours worth of cars just drove past this poor guy. Or they're like me. Not able to find anything good about themselves because they were raised to think badly about themselves for so long that later on when they finally do learn how to, I guess, get some self-esteem back, it's a beautiful thing that it's a shame didn't exist longer. I hope I haven't bored you to sleep. Sorry if I have, but maybe next week I'll have a better idea of what it is I'm trying to say, but anyway, this whole self-love idea is, I think, something that honestly, I think the first time I heard the whole concept of self-love was 14 years ago. I was like 24 years old, and it had all happened. Like I said, one of these days I might do a tell my life and kind of tell my story. But it had happened that, the point is not only had they not used the term self-love to me, but they certainly hadn't taught it to me. Well, they didn't talk about self-loathing, but as strong as that is, they might have taught me that. Maybe that's a little strong, but anyway, the point is, teach them to love themselves, and they'll love others. Maybe they will, or you may have to teach them to love themselves and to love others, because maybe they won't know about the loving others part on their own. But teaching them to love themselves is a good thing, I think. Like I said, for what my 2 cents is worth. I'm not a parent. I don't really want to be a parent. But I am the product of one parent that was never around, another parent who, God rest her soul, passed away way too soon, and a couple of substitute parents who were so concerned about making sure that I was the perfect little Christian girl that the real Ann V87 just wasn't okay. Hence my Twitter name, The Real Anvi87. Maybe I should call myself that on YouTube, The Real Anvi87. But I'm not going to put the real on there. The point is, this is the real me. This is who I am now. And if anyone doesn't like the person that I am now, then you don't have to subscribe. You don't have to watch these videos. You don't have to have anything to do with me. Anyway, I swear, if I had a weekly TV show, in a way I do have a weekly YouTube show, and I spend every minute of that 30 minutes babbling on and on. But the point is, I'm not a parent, but I am the product of people who did the best they could to parent, but I think we're too concerned about trying to teach me to love what's perfectly sinless and despise everything else. They were so busy teaching me that they didn't teach me to love myself. And it's taken me like 14, 15 years to finally start learning how to love myself. So if I'm speaking to any parents, just please, for your kids' sake, while you're teaching them right from wrong, well, it's important to teach them what's wrong. Don't forget to praise them for what's right. I guess that's the point. While you're busy telling them what's wrong, find some time in that same day to praise them for what they did that was right. Thanks for sitting through this. I hope I've reached someone. And maybe I'll be more prepared next week, or not be as boring or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, I am going to go ahead and publish this and hope that some of it reaches someone. Thanks for watching. Please sign the Do Not Demonetize petition if you feel so moved. And I'll see you next week. Bye.